Hello everyone, nice to see you. It's Cappy the Clown and I'm here to teach you how to twist balloons with the greatest of ease. So let's get started by showing you some things that you'll need to do that. In my Cappy kit, you will find a bag of round balloons. We're going to learn how to use those. You will find a hand pump, although there's different pumps you can use. Hand pump, there's electric pumps. You can even use a camping pump that you can get in a department store. And that's a good way to do it if you like to sit. A bag of balloons. These are good quality balloons that you'll be able to use, so they'll last you a lot better. And of course, a clown nose. Whoops. That's all right, a clown nose, that's okay. And then you're going to learn how to put little faces and a few little decorations. And so this happens to be a Sharpie brand pen, but any permanent marker. And I did find that black dries more easily. So sometimes I use other colors, but really all you need is a black pen and a backup one. Now the first thing I'm going to show you is that I've inflated this balloon, and do you see how I've left a little bit on the end? The reason is as I squeeze this air is going to need some place to go. So if you blow it up all the way, your balloon will be really too tight to do. I'm going to take the end and almost always start at the end that has the knot. Right away, I've blown up a balloon, I've tied it, and I already have made something. Just like that, just by blowing it up and tying it. You can balance this on your finger. You can balance it on your knee. You could balance it on your nose. Well, maybe I can't balance on my nose, but you could try. And then you can also use this balancing as a tool for kids if you have a whole line of them and you're blowing them up. They can all be balancing the balloons while you're blowing up the rest of them. Okay, so now I have this, and now there's your first thing you've made. The second thing, already made. Take your pointy finger or one without a long fingernail on it. Take the end with the knot. You're going to gently push your finger in here, and on the count of 3, let it go. And there you have your flying snake or flying streamer for a party. So already, 2 seconds into the thing, you've already made 2 balloons. Okay, I'm going to turn this flying streamer into a sword. Well, actually, we're going to do it together. So get your inflated balloon, leave 1.5 inches, 2 inches on the end, and you're going to hold it in your hand, and we're going to start at the end with the knot. I'm going to take the knot, I'm going to roll it over like the letter C, and I'm going to mush it down. Highly technical term there, mushing it down. I'm going to take the bottom, and I'm going to go back like a zigzag. So it could be a letter S or a letter Z, however is easier for you to remember. Now, it's a little difficult to hold this way. So I'm going to roll it up like a hot dog on a bun. Can you see how I did that? I had my C, Z, hot dog on a bun. I'm going to make the letter C again with my hands, go around the middle of the balloon a little bit. I'm going to kind of roll one hand towards me and one hand away from me without squeezing. And there I have my sword. So I could make it into with bigger loops, make it across, or I have a sword, and already you've made a balancing balloon, a flying streamer, and a sword, just like that. We're now going to turn this sword into a dog, or a cat, or a giraffe. But we'll do the dog because then we can all do it together. I'm going to take this same balloon, and do you see how I've made this sword? I'm going to take the knot, and I'm going to kind of maneuver it on down a little bit. You have to pull it a little bit. And now look how I have a face and 2 ears. Now I could take this, we're going to do this together, but if I put 2 legs like this, I have a duck dog. If I made the 2 legs closer together with a long tail, it could be a kitty cat. If I made 2 legs down here with a long neck, it would be that's right, it would be a giraffe. We're going to do the dog just to give you an idea of the technique. I'm going to take the balloon, I've made my face and 2 ears from my sword, and I'm going to fold it up like this. So can you see how the back went up? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the letter C again, just like you did when you did the sword, and I'm going to indent it a little bit so it knows where it's going to twist. Do you see I've left room for the neck? So I'm going to squeeze it in a little bit and flip it all over. And that has locked that into a front leg and a neck. Most common thing to watch out for is people don't leave room for the neck. So we did that, and since we're making a hot dog, we're going to make the other end exactly the same way, except instead of the neck, we're going to make a tail. Make the letter C, that's right. We're going to put it around the balloon, squeeze it in a little bit, and what are we going to do? Roll it on over. And there you go. We have your little dog for you. What do you think of that? Now again, I'm going to undo this to show you, but if I did these feet the same way, letter C, squeezed it in with a long tail and painted some whiskers on them, I have a little kitty cat. So that's an idea of how simple this is to begin. I'm going to put the dog legs back in. A little bit later on, I'll show you about faces and things with your black marker. But right now, I just want you to be able to practice the twist. So there's your little dog for you. Now, another thing that you might want to practice to get used to using the twist, see how I blew this almost 6 or 7 inches. It doesn't have to be exact. I've left a really long tail on this because this is going to be our rocket mouse. One of my friends named it that. How do I do this? Letter C. I'm going to put it around the middle of the balloon. That means it kind of looks the same on both sides. I'm going to squeeze it in the middle and roll it on over. Now watch this just for an example. If I squeeze it here and roll, look where it twists. If I squeeze it here and roll, look where it twists. So with that letter C, wherever you kind of indent your balloon and roll it is where it'll twist. I'm going to roll this over here. I've now made 2 bubbles, but if I let go, comes undone, kind of like the clown. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to come undone. We want to squeeze, roll, and fold it in half. How do you like that? Stays together. You have 2 bubbles. Doesn't really matter this next step, but I did find it a little bit simpler if you leave the tail on the bottom. So once again, what are you going to make? Letter C. I'm going to take the letter C. I'm going to put it around 2 bubbles this time. Squeeze it in a little bit. And I'm going to kind of tug on the ears as I turn them. You don't want to squeeze them, just kind of tug on them and flip them over. And there's our little rocket mouse. Now, if you made 100 of these, you're not going to have enough hands to carry them, so you can just tuck anything under his little chinny chin chin. And you can have them there. You could put a business card or a little note. In fact, when Cappy the Clown started business, this is exactly what I did. I made these mices, and I put little cards underneath their chin, and that's exactly how I promoted myself when I began. So I'm going to hang this here if I want, or you might want to make a game out of it. Make the little OK sign with your hand. Okie dokie. You're going to put it around the tail. If you put it too tight, it won't move. If you put it too loose, when you pull your mouse, he's going to pop through. So you'll get to learn the hang of it. Don't feel badly if you don't get it the first time. It takes a little practice. So I'm going to kind of make this okie dokie sign around his tail, and I'm going to pull on it and say bye-bye to the rocket mouse. And off he goes. So that's a fun little thing at parties for you, is the little flying rocket mouse. Now you've learned how to make that. Okay, let's see, moving on. Do you remember your sword that you just did? You don't have to do balloons in the colors that they are. In other words, you don't have to make an orange giraffe or a green alligator. I choose to do that, but it's all up to your imagination. In fact, one time, all the kids wanted bunnies, and we made bunnies in every color of the rainbow. So go ahead and have fun. Use your imagination. Learning the techniques to twist these balloons are one thing. Being able to have fun and entertain is really the most important of all. Do you remember how we made that sword? We did C, Z, hot dog on a bun, and then I would squeeze it. We're going to do that same kind of thing, but we're not making a sword this time. We're making an alligator. So I'm going to fold it a little bit bigger. I'm going to fold it back a little bit bigger. Now, do you see the difference how it sticks out a little bit on each end? Okay, same technique though. I'm going to make it into a hot dog on a bun. I'm going to make that letter C and indent the middle a little bit, and I'm going to roll it over. And now, instead of a sword, it looks more like a little alligator head with his 2 feet. Of course, I didn't do it evenly, did I? So you don't have to worry about being perfect right off the bat. That'll come with practice. I've only been practicing 20 years, so I haven't quite got it down yet. But again, we're going to go on and try the back legs, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to make the C, an S, hot dog on a bun, letter C that I squeeze and roll. And there's our, I don't know if any biology department would like this, or marine biology, but here's our alligator. And you'll see when we put 2 eyes and add little teeth on it. So again, once you learn to make the sword, you've got the technique to do a dog, and now you can learn how to do an alligator. And you'll be able to practice on these loops so that you get them the right size. Like I said, I've only been doing it 20 years, so. Okay, then after your alligator, I think the next good one, we're going to go into a whole different mode here. You'll combine some of these twists you've learned, and so it's not a bad idea to go back and practice them a little bit. I took this balloon and I tied it, and remember how we start at the end with the knot? I'm going to take it over. Now, I know a lot of you wear Velcro shoes these days, but any of you that still remember to tie shoelaces, I can't really show you this close up too well. I'm tying it in a knot. Did you ever tie your shoe in a knot by mistake? Well, this time you're going to tie it in a knot on purpose. And I've made this little loop. This is a good one to know because you're going to do lots of things with it using things you've already learned. We could use this for butterfly wings, and we can use it for a flower. You can use it in hats. That'll come in our next video. But I'm going to show you how to make this loop. Start at the end with the knot. You're going to just push it on down and kind of make it in the middle. See how I did that? And I'm going to do what? That's exactly right. Squeeze a little bit and roll it on over. Now, Cappy doesn't recommend putting balloons on your eyes, even though these look like eyeglasses, because some of the safety things are that if this did break, it could hurt you a little bit in your eyes. So I would skip that even though it looks like it, but you could use it as a hair bow, just sticking the hair underneath where that little twist is for you. We're not going to do that either right now, though. We're going to turn this into a flower. Now, some people would take this and do the same thing again to make your flower. We want to be a little bit different, and it doesn't take that long to do a little extra. So I'm going to show you a different way to do this. I'm going to hold this under my arm like this, or I could hold it on my arm like this. And I'm going to take another balloon. Let's do purple. You can do the same color, a different color, your little friend's favorite color. And what am I going to do? Make a circle, tie it in a knot. Do you remember the next step? Hold the knot at the top, knot. You're going to press it on down, squeeze in the middle, and that's right, rock and roll it right over. So now I have another hair bow. If I take two of these hair bows, or figure eights, that's a good way to remember it, that it kind of looks, well, I guess this is not quite an 8, but it kind of looks like an 8. Look what I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of mush them together, kind of pushing the purple one forward and pulling the blue one back. And I've made a little flower. Well, I guess it would be nice if it had a stem. Let's see if I can show you an easy way that you really have already made and don't know yet. I'm going to take, I would probably take green as a rule, but I don't have one handy because we made our alligator. So what are we going to do? Just like we did the alligator, I'm going to fold it over. I'm going to fold it back. I'm going to put it up like hot dog on a bun. I'm getting kind of hungry mentioning that word hot dog all the time, aren't you? I'm going to squeeze it in, roll it over. And there's my stem, just a variation of your sword. You could make your little petals as big or small as you want. I'm going to take this end, and again, I want to remind you, you don't want to be putting these near your eyes or in your mouth. So you can, if you would like, leave it like this, or you can kind of squeeze with your hand and make like a little circles. Do you see how it's separate there? I'm going to take that, and just like you put the two petals together, I'm going to just kind of snap it into place and kind of adjust it a little bit, and look at that. So for one little extra minute, I have a whole beautiful flower. You know, I found that with a lot of things that I do. Sometimes I think, oh my heavens, I'm so happy that I'm done. And then I found with just a little bit more, a little imagination, and just a tiny bit more effort, it's extra beautiful. So everybody will go, ooh, wow, and that's always kind of fun. So here's your beautiful flower, a little bit different than everybody else's, a little more spectacular, and everybody will love it. I do too. Okay, we're going to take these same wings. I'm going to take this flower apart, just because I already have these blown up. Now one thing, I'm going to take a round balloon. Sometimes I have tried this with water balloons. I know you guys know that, but they are actually a little bit too thin and break more easily. So buy regular little party balloons. They will come in your Cappy kit, so you'll have those, and I can tell you where to get more of them. But what I'm going to do is do what? The letter C. It's a little trickier, so don't feel badly if you don't get it the first time. I'm going to put a C on both sides, and I'm kind of mushing it in so that I can squeeze it. I guess I'm not. Mushing it in. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. I'm going to mush it in. I know how to do this. So that I can squeeze it. There, I got it. And then roll it on over. Doesn't that look like a little butterfly or a bee body? So, I'm going to take my wings, and just like before, and it was kind of squeaky. It's not as bad as it sounds. Or maybe it is. I'm going to just... I know, I actually can do that more quickly, you guys. But that's just to show you don't have to be perfect, you just want to have fun. And again, I'm going to show you with the marker in a little bit, but when you add these little eyes, and you might put a little heart here, The other night we were making lightning bugs, so we took the same one with yellow and made a little lightning bolt on it. So anything like that. Again, keep thinking of different ways you can do things. And here's your little butterfly. Ta-da! Now one more thing you can do with this butterfly. I'm going to take a straight balloon. When you have a very long line, you can't always do this extra. But if it was like a little friend's birthday party or you just wanted to have some extra fun, remember I have that little piece at the end that I don't have air in? I'm just going to snap it right around the tummy. And look, then your butterfly flies. And this is one you could put on a baby carriage. You could roll it over around the handle. And what have you learned to do? Make the letter C. Look how many times we've used that. It's just putting it in different places. Letter C, just like you made a tail on a dog, make it like a big back leg. Flip it on over. And then the little baby can still watch it bouncing around. Now, we're not going to really get into hats with this video. We'll do that in the next one, but I can't help it. I'm going to show you one thing. If you make it about this big, then what are you going to do? Letter C, squeeze it in, roll it over, and look, you've made your first hat. What do you think? Whoops. I didn't make it my size, I guess. But there's your first hat to wear in your head. How fun. Alrighty? So there's your butterfly one.